The sky over Arthas burned red. What remained of the planetary defense grid flickered in dying bursts above the capital, like a candle shivering in its final seconds. Smoke curled through the air, thick with ash and despair. The invaders were everywhere now, silver-armored giants from the depths of the Orion expanse known only as the Varneth. They didn't come to conquer. They came to erase. World by world, they moved like a tide, swallowing civilizations whole. The unified galactic fleets had tried to stop them. Over 50 races had joined forces. They had thrown billions of soldiers, hundreds of armadas, entire planets into the path of the Varneth advance. It didn't matter. Now Arthas, the last stronghold of resistance, was falling. The final command post deep beneath the city had gone silent. Communications across the sector were dead. Even the bravest warriors no longer spoke of victory, only survival. And then came the thunderclap. It began as a low rumble. At first it was dismissed. Some thought it was more bombardment or a collapsing orbital tower. But then the air began to shake. The clouds, already thick with fire and war, split down the middle. A bolt of light, blinding and cold, tore the sky open. Every sensor on every Varneth vessel screamed in warning. The atmosphere split again. Something descended. Not a fleet, not a formation, just one ship. Sleek, black, and angular, it fell from orbit like a blade thrown by a titan. Its speed defied gravity. Its hull shimmered with energy that no scanner could penetrate. No identifying code. No registration. But every surviving commander on Arthas knew what it was. A human ship. They had been silent for years. After the fall of Earth's colonies during the first wave of the Varneth assault, the humans had vanished from the galactic stage. No broadcasts, no reinforcements, no cries for help. Many thought them extinct. But now, here it was. The ship came down like a meteor. It didn't land, it struck. It hit the ground just outside the Varneth staging field with such force that it carved a crater half a kilometer wide. Dust rolled like a tsunami. For a moment, the battlefield paused, as though the war itself was stunned, and then it began. The ship's hull split open, and from within emerged mechanized walkers, two-legged giants painted in black and steel, each pulsing with a deep blue core. They moved with purpose, fluid and precise. Energy shields blossomed around them as plasma rounds bounced harmlessly off their armor. Behind them came infantry, humans in advanced combat suits, each soldier a walking weapon. They moved as one, their boots thundering across the field, cutting into the Varneth lines like a scythe through dry grass. For the first time in generations, the Varneth retreated. They tried to regroup, to analyze, to adapt. But nothing worked. The human assault didn't just rely on overwhelming firepower. It was surgical, tactical, ruthless in its precision. Communications were jammed. Command centers were overrun. Air support turned to falling wreckage. From orbit, surviving resistance. Satellites captured the impossible, the Varneth flagship retreating. General Halen, commander of Arthas's last defense post, stared at the displays in disbelief. His officers cheered, some wept openly, but he simply watched as the feed zoomed in on the battlefield. There, at the heart of it all, stood one figure. Human, unarmored, yet untouched by the storm. Clad in a long coat that billowed in the chaos, he raised a hand, and from the sky a satellite weapon ignited. A focused beam of light lanced from orbit, clean and silent, erasing a full battalion of enemy war machines in an instant. Then the feed cut. Hours later, the surviving Varneth forces had withdrawn completely. Scattered skirmishes remained, but the battle for Arthas was over, and against all reason, the defenders had won, or more accurately, humanity had. The people of Arthas gathered in the square where the human ship had landed. The black-armored troops stood in formation around it, silent and unreadable. No symbols, no flags, no words. Then the same unarmored figure stepped forward. He had a weathered face, the kind that carried stories too long to tell. When he spoke, His voice was calm, but it struck harder than any cannon. You fought well. You held the line when others ran. That matters. Halen stepped forward, stunned. Where have you been? Why now? The man looked to the sky, as if seeing through it. We were watching, preparing. We lost much in the first assault, learned more in silence than we ever did with words. But one ship? Against an entire fleet? The man smiled faintly. We built this for one purpose, to end the war. He paused, then nodded toward the sky, where stars now shone through the cleared smoke. And that was just the beginning. Within days, human ships arrived across dozens of war-torn worlds. Silent, powerful, unstoppable. No politics, no negotiations, just action. Their appearance turned the tide across the galaxy. On each world, the same message was delivered, broadcast from every speaker, every channel. Hope is not lost. Stand. We fight together now. What followed was not just a counterattack. It was a liberation. A thunderous roar across the stars that shook the Varneth to their core. And behind it all, the humans moved like a storm, precise, relentless, and unbreakable. Just as suddenly, as they had disappeared, they had returned, and this time they came not for survival. They came to win.